All right, welcome to This Week in Media-ocrity, where we present you with all the best in the worst of the media. I'm your host, Joel Foster, and I'm a proud member of the fake news media. I'd be remiss if I didn't talk about the visitor we had come to Phoenix this week, a place where everyone goes to die. The man who came to the big city is a man who endlessly flaunts his wealth and once advocated for date rape. That's right. Rick Ross is coming to the Comerica Theater, and boy am I excited. Oh, who'd you think I was talking about? Oh, yeah, that's right. The president came to town. Forgot about that. Must have forgot after the tear gas corroded my neural pathways. So we're gonna get into Trump's speech at the Phoenix Convention Center on Tuesday, then on to the media's reaction to it. Then we'll take a little detour that I promise will be totally worth it. So first, let's get to the speech. When you go to see someone perform live, like, say, Rick Ross, you want them to deliver the hits. None of that new stuff. You don't go to see Rolling Stones to see Mick Jagger's solo stuff. Perfect. So in that way, Trump's speech was a success because he gave us all his popular hits, like he was Sammy Hagar with less business sense. From I Won the Popular Vote to Chicago is a Pit of Hell and Obama is the Antichrist. He gave us everything. Sadly, he left out Lock Her Out. But what are you gonna do? The crowd thought he'd bring it out in an encore, but there was no way to outshadow the grand finale of police playing out their Call of Duty fantasies. He began the night with the usual, celebrating his election victory for some reason, but it only took 10 minutes to start a nearly 40-minute tirade against the media, and in between, he pulled out all his latest hits. Maybe you'll remember this one from last week.
Thank you. Do you plan to go to Charlottesville, Mr. President?
You think you're helping to heal the nation?
I own a house in Charlottesville.
Will you go to...
Does anyone know I own a house in Charlottesville?
Where is it?
Oh, boy. It's going to be... It's in Charlottesville. You'll see.
Is it near the winery or something?
It is the winery.
Will you go visit it to try to...
I mean, I know a lot about Charlottesville. Charlottesville is a great place that's been very badly hurt over the last couple of days.
Yeah, notice how he says it's gonna be? I know he really has a house in Charlottesville. So why does he sound like he's lying? It's like he's so used to lying that even when he's being honest, he sounds like he's lying. And what better way to connect with the common American by telling us that you own a winery in their town? Yeah, I use most of the water up in town. That's why you have to spend half of your paycheck on bottled water. Maybe next he can tell us how he owns a plantation in Jackson, Mississippi. Anyway, here he is again, hurling out his summer jam. Let's take a look.
And I have a home in Charlottesville. A lot of people don't know. Here's the first. Can't believe they haven't figured that one out yet. Now they know.
Okay, we get it. You have a house there. Saying you have a house in a town that has a problem with white supremacy might not be the best way to prove you're not racist. It's like saying, I couldn't be a murderer. I'm a gun collector. We actually have a picture of Trump's house. It's a nice place. Then, Trump brought out the big guns. Remember last week when he did a little magic trick during his press conference? Let's take a look.
And just make a statement for the sake of making a political statement. I want to know the facts. If you go back to my, in fact, I brought it.
Yeah, he brought it. Well, look what he did on Tuesday.
I openly called for unity, healing, and love, and they know it because they were all there. So what I did... So I'm condemning the strongest possible terms, egregious display, hatred, bigotry, and violence. Okay, I think you can't do much better, right? Religion or political party, we are all Americans first. We love our country. We love our God. We love our flag. In this blessed land is free to follow their dreams and their hearts and to express the love and joy in their souls. Okay, now, I mean... But the point is that those were three different. There were two statements and one news conference. The words were perfect.
Perfect. He brought it again. Does he just carry that thing around with him everywhere he goes? I want Trump to go all 4 years carrying that statement in his front pocket and then read it from time to time. That statement will someday go in the Smithsonian. That's the weirdest part. And not only did he bring it out, it sounds like he loves it more than ever. Last week, he said that the speech was excellent. But on Tuesday, he said that his speech was perfect. Perfect in every way. Better than the Declaration of Independence, boring. And the Constitution, too many big words. You know, the Quran is considered to be a perfect book in the Muslim religion. So even when he's not trying, Donald Trump is insulting Muslims. You almost have to admire him for it. He's like the Jedi of being crass. The more time that's gone by, the more he's in love with this statement. He's like Alicia Silverstone in Clueless. Trump's trying to get the respect of the cool kids in the mainstream media, but his true love went in his front pocket all along. So the statement went on for nearly 15 minutes. Yeah, 15 minutes. Then he moved on to immigration. And you know who is on everyone's mind when we talk about immigration in Arizona. He has a bulbous nose, wears glasses, and is a well-known racist. No, not Peter Griffin. Yes, it's Sheriff Joe Arpaio, who was convicted this month of criminal contempt. We just learned was pardoned. The rumor was that Trump was planning to pardon Arpaio as the real climax of the show. So did he?
By the way, I'm just curious. Do the people in this room like Sheriff Joe? Was Sheriff Joe convicted for doing his job? That's what. You know what? I'll make a prediction. I think he's going to be just fine, okay? But I won't do it tonight because I don't want to cause any controversy. Is that okay? But Sheriff Joe can feel good.
No, Sheriff Joe can't feel good. That's why he's so hateful. So no pardon for old Joe, but we've heard just now that he did get pardoned. But we'll be seeing him later in the show, so we'll talk about him then, don't worry. So closing on the finale of the Trump extravaganza, he moved on to other subjects, like TV reviews.
Networks, I must tell you, Fox has treated me fairly. Fox treated me fairly. How good is Hannity? And he's a great guy, and he's an honest guy. And Fox and Friends in the morning is the best show, and it's the absolute most honest show.
He was complaining there about how the cameras were turning it off as if he was saying something that was like so edgy. But maybe they were turning off their cameras because he dragged everyone to a hot as hell Phoenix so he could talk about his favorite TV shows. I also like Game of Thrones, that's a good one. The Dragons. Power's okay. House of Cards, overrated. So let's check out the president's favorite shows and see what they're up to. It's pretty clear immediately why he likes them so much. Let's start with Fox and Friends, the only thing I want to wake up to less than a bed full of cockroaches. Fox and Friends interviewed Arizona Treasurer Jeff DeWitt, who's floated the idea of running for Jeff Flake's Senate seat in Arizona and enjoys the support of the president. Watching DeWitt go gaga for Trump, it was difficult to see where his nose began and Trump's rancid KFC-filled feces ended. Sorry about that image. Let's take a look.
Jeff, what did you think of the president's criticism where he blamed the media for the backlash after Charlottesville?
Oh, I think he's right on the money. He came out very, very strongly and condemned all forms of racism the day that it came out. And then the media would never give him credit for that. So, I think it's sad what they put him through with these things. He did the right thing. They said, oh, he wasn't specific enough. Never mind the double standard that Obama never was specific, and they never said that about him. But they said, oh, President Trump wasn't specific. So then 2 days later, he comes out with another statement that's very specific, and they act like that's the first statement. So, the media is treating President Trump very unfairly.
That guy might be on the ballot in 2018 for senator, so remember him. And you will remember him because he makes campaign videos that look like this.
Treasurer Arizona needs experienced business CEO who knows cash flow. Go and vote. anymore. Go and vote, go and vote. I used to trade on the exchange floor. I don't have a political resume. Let the others rage on. I have the best experience in the race.
Yeah, fun fact, auto-tune was invented because of that video. The most surprising part is he actually won that race. He won treasure in Arizona. How dare he ruin the magic of Disney for everyone? Ready?
2, 3, 2.
All right, welcome to This Week in Media-ocrity, where we present you with all the best in the worst of the media. I'm your host, Joel Foster, and I'm a proud member of the fake news media. I'd be remiss if I didn't talk about, as you would expect, Arpaio took full responsibility for his actions and atoned on the show. Or he blamed a vast conspiracy where Obama and former Attorney General Eric Holder still somehow control the justice system. Let's see which one it was.
Well, I don't want to get too much into legal, but doing a civil case, the judge, and I'm not going to go into all his bias, believe me, but it will come out again. It's been public. Nobody will print it. But he pushed this over to another judge for contempt of court. And they charged me with the wrong charge, no jury. I can go on and on. So once again, the truth will come out. And I'm still concerned about the people of this country. If they can do this to me, after 55 years in law enforcement, 2 parking tickets in my life, and I have to sit in the defense table over this contempt of court. So we'll see what happens.
Exactly.
And Hillary goes free, and the unmaskers go free, and those that leak intelligence go free, and Uranium One deal goes free, and you never hear about Ukrainian interference in the election. We do have a dual justice system, sadly. We don't have equal justice under the law.
If they can go after me, they can go after anybody. Yeah, that's how law enforcement works. They're able to arrest anyone who breaks the law. But he slipped a little truth in there, didn't he? It's true, we don't have an equal justice system. Did you know that racist white men are 8 times less likely to see prison time than a black man selling cigarettes on the street? You know, we should have a tough sheriff to do something about this. Isn't it a little funny to have the sheriff complaining about the justice system? It's like Jack in the Box complaining about people getting food poisoning. Meanwhile, Trump's other favorite newsman, Alex Jones, celebrated Trump's speech by having a personal meltdown, which I realize is a redundant phrase. Let's take a look.
Oh, Trump's not perfect. They go, oh, they're so ready for us to criticize Trump. We'll be in thousands of newspapers. All the heat will be off. And I'm not bragging as who's tech professional folks, but they're trying to destroy me, kill me, and destroy my family. And I don't say that. My children have no future if I don't do the right thing. But I can't imagine what Trump's been through. I've already been told. Yeah, you see what we've done to you? I've been told they're going to try to take everything from me, and all I've got to do is just leave them alone and just be sideways, and then you can have money and have your kids and live. I'm like, I don't have my kids with you people running stuff. You want full speed, man. Let's go.
Ramming
it's not
speed.
even a question. I'm going to run you over, and what happens to me doesn't matter. Everything. Oh, you threaten my family? We're all tied up now in a chicken contest with you.
Who's the they that he's talking about? Well, his wife, who took Alex to court a few months ago, claiming that he's, you won't believe this, mentally unstable. But I'll hand it to Alex. If you're going to be in a chicken contest, he's definitely on the right side. Yeah. And finally, we've got Rebel Media's Ezra Levant, who felt that the speech was a success because Trump is keeping his promise of the big, beautiful wall. Here's Ezra defending the president by questioning the media and half the country's claim that Trump is a racist.
Cultural skills. I say again, show me the racism, show me the fascism. I didn't see any of it. I see something different. I see someone who, for the first time in 8 years, maybe longer, remembers that he works for citizens, not the elites in the media or the UN or wherever. And if the last week or 10 days is anything to go by, Americans think, well, maybe they see a president.
Where's the fascism? Where's the racism? Well, here, and here, and here. Yeah. But Ezra saw something different. And he stumbled onto the problem here, because left-leaning media also saw something different. And it was insane. Let's take a look.
We lose our credibility when we go so far as to immediately say, you know what, let's have a 10-minute conversation with multiple people all chiming in that we just think the president's insane. I mean, did you realize how that's being heard by millions of people? They're going, you know what, the media just blasted the president was right.
I think you're, hang on. I will let you get in. I think by saying that something is insanity, it's not necessarily saying that what is happening right now is insanity. Not saying specifically that the president is insane.
Where'd the guy in the bottom left go? Was he eliminated from the panel discussion? Or did he just get bored and leave? I don't know. So I've questioned Trump's sanity many times, and I've answered that question. But does it do any value to talk about his mental state with any sort of medical diagnosis? Probably not at this point. It's kind of like CNN is fueling Trump's fake news media narrative by talking about this stuff. At least when you're coming from a Trump supporter's point of view. Because who wants to believe that they voted for someone who's mentally ill? Even if he did. They see it as an attempt to make them look stupid. But we'll get to that in a bit, because I want to take a quick detour here. I had a really hard time watching the speech on Tuesday. Not because of the content, but because there was a guy in the background who was hypnotizing to watch. He's the guy that holds up the Blacks for Trump sign that you might have seen. He's been seated behind Trump on numerous occasions, but this was the first time I noticed him. Here he is in action. Look behind Trump and to the left. Back and to the left.
No, I won't vote. One vote away. I will not mention any names. Very presidential, isn't it? Very presidential. And nobody wants me to talk about your other...
Yeah, he was having a good old time. All right, so this guy's name is Maurice Simonet, and he's wonderful. He's a guy from Florida, and he goes by the name Michael the Black Man. Apparently, he used to be a member of a cult called the Temple of Love, whose leader was sentenced to 20 years in prison for attempted murder. He holds up a sign reading God2.com, which tells of a plot by Hillary Clinton and ISIS to kill all black and white women. And he's got a YouTube page. Let's take a look at his theory.
Listen, my people. This is Black for Trump, Michael the Black Man. Just remember this here. 6% of the Republican Senate are Cherokee Indians. They are the people that are ruling over this country, along with a large percentage of the Congress. So when you wonder why Republicans are not standing up for Trump, it's because those Republicans are infiltrating Republicans. And they're what you call the establishment. They are John McCain, who's a Mormon and a Cherokee Indian, Jeff Flake, and others like that. I don't want to say all their names because some of them might repent. But those two we know are flaky as hell.
Ah, so it's the Cherokees all along. I knew it. Then there's another one where he apparently uses a gas station surveillance camera to apply for a job to be the next chief of staff after John Kelly finally hurls himself out the White House window.
They don't do nothing to you, it's senseless. You have to go all the way to the right because they're going all the way to the left. That's Revelations 3:15 through 18, which says if you're lukewarm, you're going to be spewed out of God's mouth and destroyed.
Not sure that God was talking about partisan politics, but okay. But the craziest thing is that Trump seems to be taking this guy's advice. He's moving all the way to the right and performing only for his fans. And that's the one thing he gets and why he actually ended his speech pretty skillfully. Let's take a quick look.
But they don't put on those words, and they don't put on me saying those words. The media can attack me, but where I draw the line is when they attack you, which is what they do. When they attack the decency of our supporters.
See how he makes it about protecting them? Of course he doesn't care, we know that, but he knows what his supporters crave. They want to be respected. And they feel that the media is making them look stupid, which is true in a sense. How many videos have we seen of Trump people saying dumb things? And I've seen them all, and I laughed because it's funny. But deep down, I know it's not real, it's the magic of editing, and it's probably not helpful in healing the divide in this country. Are there some terrible people who support Trump? Definitely. But there's also people who have legitimate gripes that unfortunately put their faith into the wrong savior. Trump's presidency is like one of those optical illusions where one side sees the old lady and the other side sees demons arising from a crack in the earth. So we wanted to make an attempt to honestly get to know some Trump supporters, which leads us to the last segment of the show. Me and Ty went to the Trump rally on Tuesday, as he said, and talked to Trump supporters for a few hours before the speech. We tried to be as objective as we could. So we'll be back in a minute to show you the interviews and talk about the experience a little bit. So see you in a minute.
I think that we are finally at the place where you hear the majority in this country rather than the loud minority that it's been for such a long time. You know, there's a little joke that's going around that says this: what's no meat and all bread? A nothing burger from CNN.
If you will look back in history in some of his interviews, he's been right on target about our country for years. I think our vets need to be taken care of, and I think welfare needs to be cut. I need the deported, the people who here are illegally, get some of that out of here, and we'll have some money for this country. Get the crap out of the White House.
Yeah.
Quit playing games and get them out.
That car incident in Charlottesville.
Yeah. Okay.
The lady died, right?
Yeah.
And they made a fat joke about her. The website.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
It's the front line of free speech. Fat jokes. I mean, I wore the hat. I'm trying to signal as hard as I can, you know, but whatever. You have a gun. Do liberals carry guns? I don't know. I don't think so.
There's no such thing as native white people to America. You are guests to the indigenous peoples of Turtle Island.
I love how Trump says it as it is. He's not afraid to call everyone out on their
This guy will do the same thing.
Oh, yeah.
He'll just always say whatever's on his mind.
Yeah, that's part of the reason why I like Trump. And also, I think now he needs our support more than ever. You know, all these people marched around, Trump's not our president. That's such a joke. He is your president, whether you like it or not.
Thank you. After his speech yesterday, I don't know if he could top that. I needed a cigarette after that speech. Okay. I wanted him to save this country. This country is going in the toilet.
Yeah.
I know I don't look it, but I'm old. And I remember when things were different.
Yeah.
Okay, when things were better, when you were responsible and you took responsibility, you shook somebody's hand, and that was an agreement. He's everybody's president. He wants to help everyone, even those that hate him.
There's 1,000 agencies. I mean, they're figuring up ways to handicap us, corral us.
I don't have any grandkids. I don't have any children. But you do, and I've been fighting 58 years for them. Honest to God, I have. I've given everything. I've sacrificed everything. America was extremely hard to come by. Those people that fought for America, they marched through the snow. They didn't have boots. They had linen wrapped around their feet. Blood was coming out of the linen. Only 1/3 of America fought for America. 1/3 was apathetic. 1/3 was against, 1/3 was royalist. It's my firm belief that Hamilton and his Federalist Party have been taking this country down.
I hope that he pardons Arpaio. He's just doing his job. He's a great patriot for this country.
This rally's getting really boring, like what the heck?
I believe as a Christian, evangelizing, telling them about Jesus Christ, and if they don't like it, they can go back to where they come from.
I would love to go over there and talk to them and give them hugs, but I feel they think because I'm white and I'm for Trump that I'm racist.
The show of all the Trump supporters versus the people who are against Trump. We are 10,000 to 1 amount of people who are here in support of our president. He won fair and square, and we're here to prove that he deserves to be in office and that we support him.
And women, they love their pussy love. In the 80s, every white whore in New York was from Eastern Europe. We just had to pound that pussy to get any.
So how would you respond to, say, the crowd over there, right? If they're saying,
you know what,
you're racist?
Most of them were raised on formula. They weren't breastfed. Number two, a lot of them unfortunately have had traumatic pasts. They didn't really have a strong male figure. They didn't really have an alpha male that they grew up with. A lot of them grew up super sensitive. I'm not ragging on them, but unfortunately that's where we've kind of come. We have to kind of go back to the traditional values of what made our country great and focus on developing and building high quality human beings and reaching out and touching as many lives as we possibly can. You know, it's not about ourselves, it's about the big picture. And you know, our kids are gonna have to grow up in this country, and we need a system of opportunity.